Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Friday afternoon, March 3rd. We are looking at window traders, market profile of the ES and SPY. Kudos to the bulls. Got to give them a nice hand. It's very poor structure on what's going on here. However, what they did from I period on yesterday, triple distribution day yesterday. Guess what? We have a quadruple distribution today. Okay? We have 4 distributions. We'll go over all that in a minute. Volume closed average, so it should be above average with the after hours. Look, we kind of expected this, taking these shorts out and kind of ripping them apart. We've been waiting for this. It finally happened yesterday afternoon, and then all day today. Guess what? We gapped again today, but this time we held it. That's the 4th gap we've held this year. Okay, out of 23 or 24 gaps out of 41 trading days. That's amazing. But we've held 2 upside gaps, 2 downside gaps. We hold a trend day. This is the 28th day I think we've attempted to go trend up. This is the 8th day we've held it. So about 30 somewhat percent we've held on the trend days. As far as my trading, I basically broke even today. I made a little bit, but nothing very small. Again, this is not my type of day. I didn't get hurt by any stretch. Usually my win ratio is very, very high. Today I made money on 4 trades, lost money on 4 trades. But I still made more than I lost by a little bit, because on a couple of ones I made on my I had 2 lots as opposed to 1 lot. Let's go over the other ones. We'll go over my trades, but I don't want to spend a lot of time because I want to recap all these charts. NQ goes out with a triple distribution day. So again, real quickly, what does that mean? We're going to treat today as 3 separate days. F's high to the day's low is 1 day. H's range is 2 days. And then from M's low to the day's high is your 3rd distribution. Once you get 3 wide, that starts separating into separate days, as opposed to just one time framing up or down straight up and only having 2 wide. So they end up with that. Nobody probed. And they held their gap, just like ES and SPY did. Righty did not hold their gap, filled it in A period actually. But they also go out with a triple distribution day, as they held very small singles here in H, and they didn't probe. For us and for ES and SPY, we have 4 distributions. We have C's high to the day's low. Then we have F's range. Then we have J's low to H's high. And then you have K's low or M's low to the day's high. 4 distributions. Now SPY took out last week's high and missed an outside week up by 5 cents. They closed 5 cents below it. ES never got last week's high. Missed it by a couple of points. However, I'm still going to call the weekly firmly balanced right now because of what SPY did and how close ES got. Remember, we had an outside day up yesterday. Boy, oh boy, did that have a powerful follow through. So that's why an outside week up would be powerful. Look at the volume we did here. We just pounded in volume all afternoon here. Never pulled back. SPY pulled back by a couple of points or ticks in D, in ES, in J, and again in M. But never shook out any week longs. Why? Because you were getting a prevailing bid underneath by short covering. Think about it. When you look at I'll show you the chart. We just had 8 days of shorts cover in a day and a half. The higher we went, the more they covered with, you just had a live bid underneath. Plus, you get the momentum buying. So why wasn't I long? Well, that's a question I ask myself that all the time. Believe me, it's not new. I have to know myself. I actually lost on a short in A period, thinking we're going to go get the gap. Then in B period, I took a short before we took out A's low, so I made money on a 2 lot, even though we didn't fill the gap. Then I was long in B period, again above the opening, saying, okay, this thing wants to go higher now. I made money in C, even though we didn't hold single prints in B, made money on a 2 lot in C. So I did okay early in the day, right? I had I made money on 5 lots, lost on one. But then because we didn't go trend in B, I actually took a short in E thinking that would continue and get a P shape. Well, I ended up losing 3 points on it. Finally took a long in F, made money on that because we had the single prints. But then my last 2 trades, I period, I actually took a short at 35 thinking we would go take back G singles, lost on that 3 points. And believe it or not, I lost money in L on a long. Don't ask me how, but I did. I took a long in 50 thinking we'd go and get the weekly high that we didn't get. Well, I took them off, I think, at 46 and change or 47. So between all that, I basically broke even on the day, made small, but nothing to write home about. As far as destinations, we have today's high in SPY. 404.45 is a weekly high. 405.31, 10 wide from February 17th. 407.51, daily high, and then fill in the gap at 408.14 from February 17th. For our downside, we have 3 sets of singles. 403.47 to 24. Second one is 402.66 to 52. Third set, 401.83 to 50. And then today's low of 399.03 and fill in the gap at 398.69, a 34-point gap. For ES, single prints, 42.75 to 40.50, 33.75 to 31.50, 26.25 to 23, and then today's low of 98 and fill in the gap at 95.25. For the upside, 53 is today's high, which is a weekly high. Then we have 56.25, which is last week's high. We never took it out. And then you should have all the other ones I gave you. I gave you wide pox and everything else. And that's why I asked you to write them down so we don't waste time. So I'm not going to give those again because I want to spend time on the charts. So we're going to start with righty like we usually do. And again, I like using IWM, Q, and SPY because I think the charts are cleaner than the futures. Now, IWM is just in, again, some people will call the monthly up. We talked about this last week. I don't have a problem with that. But I think this weekly high, monthly high from August of 22 is really the balance high. So I'd still call it balance. But if you're calling it up, one-time framing up, it is one-time framing up for 2 months coming into this month. Be my guest. I'm calling it balance for now. Again, it's subjective. Weekly, back to balance. We took out last week's high. Now, they never took out last week's low. So it's like they didn't have a chance for an outside week up. So they're back to, I would call this a 2-week balance. I would use this week's high and last week's low. So the monthly is balance on IWM. The weekly is balance. So even though we had really good moves, we're still balanced on those two. Daily, I'll call up. Right? Daily just took out. Now, actually, the daily really didn't even go down for me in IWM. We never took out February 24th's low. So even though we were one-time framing down for 2 days out of an inside day, it was still balanced. But today, for me, just came out of balance to the upside. And we close above the 20-day moving average. So they're above all 3 of their averages. So the monthly and weekly are balanced. The daily is up in the IWM and righty. Triple Qs. Monthly. Now the monthly, they're up because they took out September's high. And August high was way higher, so that had nothing to do with my balance initially. So the monthly is up in Triple Q and NQ. Weekly, balance. Oh, look at this. Did they have an outside week up? Let me see. Oh, they did. See, I was so fixated on ES and SPY today. So very impressive. It's a 2-week balance, but it's an outside week up. Now you saw how powerful the outside day up yesterday was for ES and SPY today. They didn't have it in NQ or righty. But last week's high is 298.73. They closed almost $1 above it. So the monthly is up, the weekly is balanced, but it's an outside week up. Powerful. Daily, up. Now, yes, I would have called the daily down initially after yesterday, but then they took out yesterday's high, but never had an outside day up. So they were back in a 2-day, 3-day balance. Today, after this move, the daily is up. Look what they got to. I just realized it. They bumped their head right at the 20-day moving average to close. So in the NQ and triple Q, the monthly is up, the weekly is balanced, outside week up, the daily is up. Now let's go to SPY and ES. Again, can't thank you enough for the likes and subscribing to this channel. I think it would really help you guys and gals if you came and checked this out at camelbacktrading.org also. Monthly is up for SPY. I'm sorry. No, it's not. Duh. We took out last month's low. I'm going to call this a 2-month balance now because we have zero extension. Initially, I said, you know what? It would start as a 5-month balance. I think I'm going to keep it at 2 months because of how strong we finished the week inside of last month, okay? Now, again, that could change as the month progresses. This is only the 3rd trading day of the month. For now, though, I'm going to call it a 2-month balance. Last month's high, this month's low since we took it out. Weekly, balance, 2-week balance, almost an outside week up, but we didn't close above it. Actually, the whole 2-week balance is this week's range, just like in triple Q and NQ. Look at that. Twice we tried to get below that lower trend line high, lower highs from last year. But look how strong we bounced off it. So balance on the weekly. And the daily is up. Okay? We had an outside day up, followed it up with a great gap and held it. We did not get to our 20. We got close to it. So again, and here's what I was talking about. Here's your 8 days of shorts, right? We came out of balance here to the downside. Bear, 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 back to balance, back to bear, and then we played in balance for a while, and now we went bull. But 8 days of shorts finally got ripped apart in a day and a half from yesterday and today. Very visual on that. So that's how it's playing out. So again, I hope you had a good day and a good week trading. Rest up. Enjoy your weekend. There's a lot next week. Powell is speaking both Tuesday and Wednesday. You have non-farm payroll next Friday. The beige book is Wednesday. So again, all the stupid gyrations we'll get from these things, but especially with Powell speaking Tuesday and Wednesday. Have a great weekend, and we'll speak prior to the opening on Monday.